We're going to start. Yeah, I do too, Megan. Um, we're going to start on page 31. And here comes Sydney. So she's coming in. Page 31. All right. We're talking about adjectives today. You guys have done this before, so it should be pretty familiar to you. An adjective is a word that describes a noun or a pronoun. So it's going to give more information about a thing, pretty much, or a place. But it also will answer these questions. So these questions are really good to memorize so that you can think of these questions when you're looking for adjectives. Which one, what kind, how many, or whose? These questions, if you can answer a question, one of these, with a word, it's probably an adjective. So that's how you can tell which one it is. There's also a little rule that you need to remember that anytime you see an article adjective, those are the a, an, and the. Anytime you see an article, it says it's a special type of adjective that signals that a noun is coming. So when you see the words a, an, or the, just know that a noun is coming in the sentence. It could be the next word, or it could be an adjective and then the noun, but you got to know it's coming. You can test if a word is an adjective by putting the word between an article and a noun. So here's a little test in the margin. It says the blank pen. Well, that's pretty easy if I say the blue pen or the black pen. Blue and black are going to be adjectives describing the color of the pen. I could use words like large pen or soft pen or um, weird pen. I don't know, lots of different ways to describe the pen. But if I have the word like swim, the swim pen, no, that doesn't make sense. Or if I say um, the jog pen, that doesn't sound right either. So if you need a test to check if a word is an adjective, you can use that little test. It's not always perfect, but it can help you. So look at this example here. And by the way, good morning, Sydney and London. I see you guys coming in. We're on page 31 in grammar, okay? Okay. The scared mice ran. So the adjective usually comes before the word it describes. The adjective scared is describing the mice. What kind of mice are they? They're scared mice. So it's answering the question, what kind? Here, the mouse ran to his nest. And then it says, because the possessive pronouns my, your, his, her, its, our, their function as adjectives, you will now mark them as adjectives. So you used to mark them as pronouns, but now we're going to start calling them adjectives because that's how they function in the sentence. The pronoun his replaces mouse's, and it functions as an adjective telling whose nest. It's his nest. So now we're going to mark these with ADJ for adjective. So basically, you're going to find the nouns and pronouns in the sentence. Once you find a noun or a pronoun, then you ask the adjective questions to identify the adjectives. And the questions are also over here in the margin. Which one, what kind, how many, and whose? Those are the questions that adjectives answer. And then you're just going to write ADJ. So look at the two examples here. Two scared mice jumped from the first basket and ran. So two and scared are talking about the mice. It tells how many and which one. Two scared. And then first basket is telling which basket it is. Which one is it? It's the first basket. The next, oh, it kept going. I didn't even notice that. And ran under the cook's nose. Their hearts raced with fear. So the nose belongs to the cook. So if you ask the question, whose nose? Oh, it's the cook's nose. Okay, that's the adjective. And then their hearts, whose hearts? Oh, their hearts. Okay, there is the adjective. So if it answers these questions, which one, what kind, how many, or whose, that's going to tell you it's an adjective. And then down here it's talking about quality adjective. That is coming to a checklist near you. It's not on your checklist yet, but it's coming, and that will be a dress up word. And quality adjective dresses up writing because it creates a strong image or feeling. So it's going to describe something in a way that gives you a picture inside your head of what it is. And we'll go over that more when it's on our checklist. So turn the page because there's more on the back of this, page 32. On page 32, we're talking about homophones. And we've talked about these before. Words that sound the same, but they're spelled differently and they have different meanings. And today we're going to talk about two, two, and two. Two, two, two. They all sound exactly the same. They're spelled different and they have different meanings. So let's look at TO first. Two. Two is a preposition or part of an infinitive. So here's an example of a preposition, to town. And remember, prepositions have a noun or a pronoun in them, but no verb, right? So if you're going to go to town, that's a prepositional phrase, to town. Here it says to hide. Now, hide is a verb. But if you put to in front of a verb, to hide, now it becomes an infinitive. That's how it's functioning in the sentence. So we're not going to label that as a verb, but it's an infinitive. Okay. So just know the TO is either a preposition or an infinitive. And then we have TWO. That's an easy one. You guys know the number two. Two mice means two, one, two mice. And then we have TOO. And it's an adverb meaning also, or to an excessive degree. Here's an example, had it too. So let's say you have a cold and your brother has it too, meaning also. Okay, or too long, like the airplane ride to Japan was too long. That's an excessive degree. It means too long, right? All right, that's those homophones, two, two, two. So guess what? They're going to do the wrong one. They're going to put the wrong two in the sentence just for you so that you can see that it's wrong. And then you're going to draw a line through it and fix it, just like they did here. So this example says, the two mice lived too far from each other to meet. They did not travel to town together. So they're all messed up. Look at that. Every single one of them is wrong. So you have to draw a line through it and write it the correct way above it. So this should be the two, as in the number two, mice, lived too far. That's an excessive degree. That just means too far, really far, from each other to meet. To meet is one of those infinitives, to meet. They did not travel to town. There's a prepositional phrase. They underlined it for you. Together. So they had the wrong ones in. You're just going to fix the right two. Okay. Commas. There are some comma rules here. When you have two nouns or two verbs or two adjectives, you don't need a comma. If you have three or more, you do need a comma. Okay. So the pattern is if it's just two like this, A and B, no comma there. If it's A, B, and C, then you need commas, A, comma, B, comma, and C. So look at the example here. The cook saw Timmy and screamed. The coordinating conjunction is and. It's not connecting Timmy and screamed, even though that's on either side of and. Remember, the coordinating conjunctions only connect the same type of word, so the same part of speech. Like I said earlier, it's got to be like two nouns or two adjectives or two verbs. In this one, it's two verbs. It's saw and screamed. That's what Timmy did. He did two things, saw and screamed. So since it's just two, we don't need the comma, you take it out. But if the cook saw Timmy, or the cook saw Timmy, screamed out loud and ran out the door, that would mean she saw, she screamed, and she ran. Then we would need commas. But since she only did two things in this sentence, saw and screamed, we don't need a comma. All right, any questions about anything we talked about so far? If not, just shake your head no for me. So I know you don't. Okay. Good. Okay, then. Let's go on to the practice page. Whoops. Does anybody feel like reading the sentence today? Any takers today? How about I thank you, London. You're always volunteering. I appreciate that. Go ahead, Linda. You can read it. Thank you.
Inside the large house, Sarah, the maid, noisily raced up the stairs and down the stairs. 2.
Good. Well, I know you kind of paused on that word too because it's the wrong one, huh?
Yeah.
That's bugging me. Can we fix that first? What do you think it should
Yeah.
be, London? How should we spell that too?
Um,
It's like also. Which spelling is it when you're talking about she went up the stairs and down the stairs too, meaning like also? Do you know how to spell that one?
Too.
Yes, there you go. You got it. So I'm just going to draw a line through it and just put it above it. Too. That is the correct spelling for two. See, I told you they would try to trick you on purpose here and mess you up, but you got that. The vocabulary word is noisily. The base word in that word is noisy. We all pretty much know what noisy means. If you have a little brother or a little sister or a dog, yeah, you know what noisy is. So noisily is just basically in a noisy way. And then there's four articles, so go ahead and find those by yourself. The is popular today. And then how about Julio? Where are the five nouns? You're muted if you're talking.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay.
The house,
House is one, good.
Sarah,
Yeah,
maid,
yep,
and then stairs,
yes.
and then stairs again.
And stairs again. Very good. There's one adjective, Megan. Do you see where the adjective is? It's going to tell something about a noun.
Large.
Good, you got it. That was an easy one. All right. How about the coordinating conjunction, Sydney? It's a fanboy's word.
And
Good. And it's right there. And then we'll come back to the prepositional phrases, but let's do subject verb, London. Where are the subject verbs? Let's go ahead and do both, the subject and the verb.
um,
And we can start with the verbs if that's easier. Sometimes that helps.
raced
Raised is one. Good.
and
Oh, I think that might be the only one. It is.
okay.
So you got the verb. So who is it that's racing?
Um, maid and Sarah.
So you're right, but we're gonna say the subject is Sarah because the maid is just describing her more, but it's actually Sarah. She's the subject who's racing up and down the stairs. Good job, London. All right, Christopher, I see you came back. Do you see where the um, prepositional phrases are? There's three of them. Look at what's left here.
Inside the large house.
Good, that's one.
Up the stairs.
Good.
Down the stairs.
Down the stairs. Nice. Very good. So when you're looking at what's left, that kind of helps. That's why sometimes I save it till the end. All right. Capitals, you can do that by yourself. Two capitals. Oh, yeah, Sarah. And an end mark is just going to be a period there. Good job, you guys. Okay, I see Olivia coming in. We just finished our grammar page. Does anybody have any questions about page 33? Good morning, Camila. I mean, Olivia, sorry. Olivia. Okay, we're just finished with grammar. So I am recording this, Olivia, if you need to watch it later, okay? We're going to move on to the binder next. Okay. Write this down real quick. All right, you guys wrote about the emperor and the soup last week. And did you remember, and go ahead and get that out from your front pocket if you have it there. If you typed it, that's okay. That's a good thing. Did you remember to put in ly adverbs in each paragraph? Give me a thumbs up if you remember to put an ly adverb and underline it. Okay, I see some thumbs there. Good. How about a who which clause? Did you remember to do that in each paragraph too? Good. I see those thumbs. And the last, oh, there's more. We also added strong verbs. Did you guys remember to underline a strong verb in each paragraph? Good. Yes, there. Some of you are like, I'm not sure. Julio?
Um, so I was my mom texted you asking if what to do if it doesn't fit, because I did the paragraph wouldn't fit into the story that I was making. So I just extended it with the numbers. But I haven't finished it yet because
Oh, yeah. I think yes. And I think I responded to her and said that was okay. At least I did in my head. I don't know if I actually responded to her. But just so you know, yeah, if you need more sentences to make it work, I'm okay with that. I wouldn't add more than 5 sentences though, because we want to keep it really concise. Okay. Per paragraph, in other words. But it sounds like everybody remembered the strong verbs too. How about a new title? Did you guys give your paper a new title? Give me a thumbs up if you did. Good. Nice. Well, we do have time for 2 people to share their story. Does anybody want to read the Emperor and the Soup story that you wrote? Yay, and we got 2 volunteers. That's perfect. Christopher and Megan. Perfect. So Christopher, do you have it or do you need me to pull it up?
I have it.
Okay. And how about you, Megan? Do you have yours too? Okay. So when you're ready, and I want the rest of you to be listening for the ly words and the who which and strong verbs and a new title. Okay. As they're sharing. So whenever you're ready, Christopher, you can go first. You looking for it? I can pull it up if you need me to. Should I have Megan go first? Oh, you got it. Okay, go ahead.
Everything tastes good. Once there was an emperor that was hunting in a group with his friends excitedly. Then a storm came and he got separated from the party, which he got lost in the forest with no food or water. After that, he almost fell asleep from exhaustion, and he glimpsed at a cabin. He used all of his final strength to get there, and when he knocked on the door, there was a woodcutter and his wife. They were delighted to have such a distinguished guest. They let him in, and the woodcutter and his wife were kind to the emperor. They sang songs, played games, and other things. When it was time for dinner, they had an excellent soup that the now emperor had become joyfully excited for the soup that they would make. It was so excellent that he asked for the recipe, which was really hard to make. Again, they sang songs, and the emperor was explaining how good the soup was. When the emperor got to the castle, he asked his servant to make the soup, which was because he was hungry, and he ate it, realized that it was not as good as he didn't make him sing brightly as it did in the cabin. He was traveling through the woods to talk to the woodcutter and her wife and his wife about the soup. They explained since he was hungry, that's why it was good because if you're hungry and struggling, everything tastes good, even foods you don't like.
Woohoo! Good job, Christopher. You guys know what to do. I like it. I heard all kinds of great LY words in there. You can hit your reaction button too. That's always kind of fun. Send some rockets and some party hats. Good job, Christopher. Well done. I like all the LYs. I heard all the who, whiches, and a bunch of great strong verbs in there. And your title. Very good. Okay, Megan, it's your turn when you're ready. Go ahead and start with your title. Oh, I didn't see the message and I didn't know.
Yeah.
I thought you might have had it. Okay, hold on. Let me see if I can pull it up real quick. Oh boy, let's see. Here it is. It's coming. I gotta get it situated here. Make it a little bigger.
All
Okay,
right.
go.
Charles, who's the empire, likes to hunt in the woods. He and his friends got separated in a storm. They found a house and knocked on the door. It was the
Elderly,
elderly
elderly, uh-huh.
woodcutler's wife. Audrey, Carlos, Audrey and Preston all sang songs loudly and told stories. Carlos exclaimed, "This soup is the best I have ever had." The Empire asked nicely, "Can I please have the grants for the soup recipe which you are making?" Carlos declared, "I have a feeling I need to rest and I'm grateful. I get to stay at your home." Audrey gave him the recipe, but when tasted, he tasted, he felt disappointed. Carlos explained, impatiently talked to Preston and Audrey. "Please recreate the recipe and make sure it's correct." The Empire learned he had never stopped to enjoy rest because he was working. He was grateful to Preston Audrey, who helped him by making a special soup.
Nice. Good job, Megan. Look at all that. That's great. You did great with all the who, which, and everything. Go ahead and
Thank
share the
you.
love. You're welcome. Awesome. Okay, you guys. So we're going to add a new band word. Okay. So don't be mad. Be glad. Julio's clapping. So in your front pocket, you should have that blue page that we already had some banned words on, like say, said, seesaw, and go went. Go ahead and get that blue page out because now we're going to add think, thought. Okay. So you should already have on yours say, said, seesaw, go went. So we're going to add on this one right here think and thought. Okay, I had to go outside the box a little bit there, but that's all right. Think thought is a new one that we're going to start avoiding. Does anybody, you can just unmute and say a word. Do you know a word we can use instead of thought? You can just unmute and say it. You don't have to raise your hand or anything. What can we do instead of thought?
Brainstorm.
Ooh, I like it. Brainstorm. Brain, and I'm going to make them past tense, and it's okay to go outside your box if you can't quite fit it. It's okay. Brainstormed. I like it. What else? You could just say it, unmute and say it. Maybe dreamed.
Daydreamed.
Daydreamed. I like that. Maybe hoped. Think about things that happen inside your brain when you're thinking.
Meditated.
Yeah, that'll work. Meditated.
Wished.
Yep, wished. Good. I like the word remembered too. Remembered. That's probably good for now. We got a good list. I'll give you a second to write those down. Brainstormed, dreamed, daydreamed, hoped, meditated, wished, remembered. Once you get, oh, go ahead.
Idea.
Idea is going to be a noun, actually, so that won't work. These are going to be verbs. So, because you have an idea. So, not idea. But we're going to stop on our list here. But if you think of others later, you can always add to your list later, okay? Because you can keep it going. This page is going to go behind the tab that says banned words in your binder. So go find that tab, banned words, and stick this in there. Then when you're doing your papers and you need to use something other than a banned word, you know where to find it. Okay, so the tab that says banned words, put it there. And then before you put away your binder, I'm going to have you do a couple other things with it. So after you put away banned words, right here is banned words. It should go behind that tab here. And then right before banned words, you should have stylistic techniques and this yellow page. Find this yellow page. It's behind the tab that says stylistic techniques. Let me get this out real quick. And you can just leave it in your rings. I'm going to have you add a couple things to this page. Okay. So should be behind the tab that says stylistic techniques. And on this, you should already have ly adverb and who, which. We need to add a couple more. So next is strong verb is number 3. And number 4, we're adding a new one this week, because. Because clause. So fill those in. Oops, sorry. There we go. Once you get that written down, give me a thumbs up. This is the yellow page that's behind the tab that says stylistic techniques. That's where this page should be. And so far we're doing 4. So this week you have 4 words that you need to underline in each paragraph. Thumbs up when you got that. You got that, Olivia? You're still working on it. Okay. I see Christopher. Okay, good. Julio. After you get the yellow page done, you're going to put away the emperor and the soup because we're done with that lesson. And you're going to go ahead and get out the next lesson, which is week 6. And that one is called The City Mouse and the Country Mouse. Okay, and that's going to be back at the front of your binder. It looks like this. Let me know. Go ahead and unmute and tell me if anybody needs help, but this should be behind the first tab that says source text tab. Go ahead, Julio, I see your hand there.
Isn't this our Fix-It grammar?
It is. It is the same story, but a little bit different version of it.
Yeah.
But very good that you recognize that. You also need a piece of lined paper. So after you get out week 6, by the way, week 6 is 1, 2, 4 pages. After you get out week 6, get a piece of lined paper out and then give me a thumbs up when you're ready to go. Christopher?
First,
Wait, say it again?
did you say the city mouse has 4 papers?
Yes, it has 4. One of them's pink. So you've got page 53, page 55, page 57, and page 59.
Nice.
Okay, you're welcome.
Mine has more than 4 papers.
You got them out?
But mine doesn't have 4 papers. It has more than
Oh, you might be missing. Are you missing this one? It should be this one. And then it should be the actual story itself, the city mouse and the country mouse. And then it should be the pink page. And then the checklist. Okay. Sydney, are you ready? And you got your line of paper too? Okay. Good. London, are you ready? Good. And then Olivia is working on it. Julio, are you working on it? Or are you ready, Julio? Okay. Christopher, you ready? You found it? You figured it out. Okay, it looks like you guys are good. And by the way, Olivia, did you get your binder in your book? Did it come in the mail? Yay! Finally. Did your sister get hers too? Okay, good. Yay. Oh my goodness, that took forever. All right, so today we're going to talk about the city mouse and the country mouse. So let's start by getting our story sequence chart ready. So let's get your line paper out first on top of everything. And go ahead and put your name here, first and last, and then 10, 14, 25. And then we're going to set this up. So this is a long title. So I'm going to start closer to the red line for this one. City, mouse. Oh, it's the city mouse and the country mouse. So it's a big title. Might as well use the whole space. Under that, we'll put SSC. You know that stands for story sequence chart. Do you have your paper ready, Megan? Okay. You got to catch up to us, okay? Do you know where to find it? Okay. Go ahead and get 4 pages out for the city mouse and country mouse, and then you need a piece of lined paper. We're going to draw our line down. Remember, you're going to make this space on the left side a little smaller than the right side. This side, we're going to do most of the writing. So draw a line about that far down your paper. It doesn't have to be perfect. And then on the right side, let's go ahead and start building the outline. So it's just going to be Roman numeral 1, 1 to 3, and then skip a space 2, 1 to 3, skip a space, and 3. Don't worry, I'm going to slow down in a second here. I just want to get this down. And then you're going to draw lines across right on top of the Roman numeral, all the way to the edge of your paper. So we're going to make these boxes here like this. Draw this one across. And then at the very bottom, we'll draw that across like that. Okay, thumbs up when you got that done. And it's okay that the third box is a little bit longer. Good, I see that. Good. Okay, if you're still writing, that's okay. Keep writing. I'm going to keep going because we got to get going on this. The first box, characters and setting. Remember, that's how we start a story every time. And that's because that helps people understand what's going on and who's in the story. So let's put characters slash, and then squeeze in that word setting. If you need to write it on the next line down, that's okay, but try to keep it inside that box. Characters and setting, and this is when we ask who and where and when. Who's in the story? Where are they? And when does it take place? And I always like to talk about Kung Fu Panda. And just to remind you, that's how that movie starts out with the characters. And you guys have other movies that you watch too, I'm sure, and books and stories. So it's really important to understand the characters in the stories first. Then we move into the next box. Who knows what goes next? After we introduce the characters and setting, what do we talk about in the middle paragraph? Who remembers that? Thinking. Julio, you remember?
The conflict and the problem.
Yes, good. Conflict slash problem. Yes. And we just ask what? Like, what is the problem? What does the character need? What does the character want? Sometimes we answer the question, why? Why does the character need that? And then the last box, the last paragraph of a 3-paragraph story. What do we do in the last one? Good, Olivia, I see your hand.
Climax and resolution.
Good, climax and resolution. Good job. And I saw other hands too. You guys probably remembered that too. And we're going to ask the question, how? And this is our favorite box where we get to draw our little mountain with the guy at the top and the spikes and the cloud. You know what to do. One arrow goes this way, one arrow goes that way. And then we kind of have these little hash marks like he's wobbly. He's wobbly at the top of the mountain. And this is the part of the story where it's at the most intense part, the climax. You're not sure if the character is going to die or live, or the character is going to be lost forever or find his way home. It makes it a good story when you're not sure. Kind of gets your attention. Maybe you sit at the end of your seat if you're watching a movie like that. Okay, so now we're all set. We got our notes on the side here. We're going to read the City Mouse and Country Mouse, and then we're going to start filling this in that sequence, okay, in that order. So go ahead and get the story out next. Page 55. Anybody else still need this page? Okay. Page 55. And by the way, my page looks different because I lost my page actually. And I had to copy it from the teacher's edition, but the story is the same. It just looks a little different. The City Mouse and the Country Mouse. I'm going to go ahead and read it. I want you to be thinking about who the characters are, where they are in the setting, what the conflict or the problem is, and then how it gets resolved. Did you have a question, Christopher? Okay. The City Mouse, and you're right, by the way, before I start, it is the same story as your grammar book, but a little bit of a different version of the story, okay? It's different. There's a lot of versions of this. A city mouse once visited a cousin who lived in the country. For lunch, the country mouse served wheat stalks, roots, and acorns with a dash of cold water for drink. The city mouse nibbled a little of this and a little of that by her manner, making it very plain that she ate the simple food only to be polite. So basically, she was just being nice, but she didn't like it. She didn't really like it. After the meal, the city mouse chatted about her life in the city, which with its luxuries and delicacies. They then went to bed in a cozy nest in the hedge and slept comfortably until morning. In her dreams, the country mouse enjoyed all the delights of the city life that her cousin had described. So the next day, when the city mouse asked the country mouse to go home with her to the city, she gladly agreed and packed her things. After they reached the mansion in which the city mouse lived, they found on the dining room table the leavings of a fine banquet. There were meats and jellies, pastries, and delicious cheeses. But just as the country mouse was about to taste a morsel of cheddar, a cat meowed loudly. In great fear, the two mice scurried to a hiding place where they lay quite still, for a long time, hardly daring to breathe. When at last they ventured back to the feast, the door opened suddenly, and in came the servants to clear the table, followed by the house dog. The country mouse stepped into the city mouse's hole to pick up her bag and umbrella. You might have luxuries and dainties that I have not, she said as she hurried away, but I prefer my plain food and simple country life with the peace and security that go with them. Okay, so we've got two mice. They're cousins. They're both girls. One lives in the city, one lives in the country, and they're visiting each other. And they're realizing they don't really like the other mouse's place, right? They were uncomfortable at each other's places. So let's work on the story sequence chart then from here. And there's two mice in this story, and it's going to be a little tricky keeping them separate. So the first thing I want to do is just circle the CI and the CO. Since they both start with C, I think we're going to need the next letter to help us remember the difference. So every time we use CI, we'll remember that's the city mouse. Every time we use CO, that's the country mouse. All right. So I'm going to start with Megan. Who are the characters in the story? I mean, we just kind of talked about that, but who are the characters? We're starting with paragraph 1 here.
The two mouse.
The two mice, yes.
I mean mice.
Yes. Uh-huh. So we have the city mouse. We could do the CI symbol. I'm going to put mouse just so we have that. And the CO mouse. The pen is running out of ink. You get a new pen real quick here. Okay. And Megan, where are they? Or no, no, don't tell me where yet. How are they related to each other? How do they know each other?
They're cousins.
Cousins. Yeah, let's put that they're cousins on here. So we've got CI mouse, CO mouse, and that they're cousins. Good. And then Christopher, who visits who first in the beginning of the story?
The city mouse visited the country mouse.
Okay, good. So the city mouse visits the country mouse in the country. So we could put CI, we could put visits CO in the country. You're right. So the city mouse goes to the country first. That's why we need to keep this straight because it's kind of confusing how they go back and forth. Julio, what do they eat in the country? What are they eating in the country?
Uh, wheat, really? Roots, acorns?
Yeah. Do you want to just do wheat, roots, and acorns?
Yeah.
Okay. Wheat, roots, acorns. Basically, natural things that grow outside in nature. And then they eat that together. And then Olivia, what do you think? Did the city mouse like the food?
Yeah.
No, not really, huh? But she ate it to be polite. So, she didn't really like it though. So how can we put that on the, what do you think, Olivia? Do you have any ideas of how we could put that on the outline? That she ate it, but she didn't really like it, but she was trying to be polite. It kind of talks about it right here. The city mouse nibbled a little of this and a little of that by her manner, making it very plain that she ate the simple food only to be polite. She didn't want to be rude, so she ate it. You have any ideas on how we could do that on the outline? Maybe I'll help you here. Let's put the word like, but then cross it out. Oh, and we're talking about the city mouse, so I'm going to squeeze in CI. CI didn't like it because it was simple, but she was trying to be polite. So she, let's see, how could we do this? Any ideas out there? She didn't like it, but she went ahead and ate it to be polite. Maybe we could just put ate polite. That'll help us remember. Okay, the city mouse didn't like it, but she ate it to be polite. She wanted to be nice, right? So we haven't really entered into the problem yet, but we're going to start getting into that because we know that the problem was the cat and the dog at the city mouse. Or yeah. So let's move into this next one, Roman numeral 2. London, who invites who next in the story? So the city mouse went to the country mouse, and then what happened?
Um, the country mouse went to visit the city mouse.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So they go to the city next. But maybe we could say city mouse invites or invited country mouse to the city. And then Sydney, what did they eat in the city at the big mansion?
They ate cheeses and like fancy cheeses and stuff.
Cheeses, fancy cheeses, jellies. What else, Sydney? They ate a bunch of stuff, but you can, or they were going to. They didn't really get to eat it though, after all.
Pastries.
Pastries, that's like donuts and stuff. Breads, pastries, cheeses, jellies, pastries. If you want to do meat instead or draw a picture of meat or something like that, you can. Okay, now we're getting into the problem, right? Because they're getting ready to have this big feast and they're like, oh my gosh, this is going to be so good. I can't wait. And then Megan, what happens? Getting ready to eat all this wonderful stuff.
Let's see, where are
It's like at the bottom of page 55 where it says, but just as the country mouse was about to taste a morsel of cheddar and then go turn it over,
All
what
right.
happened?
Oh, a cat.
Yes, the cat.
Oh no.
Cat meowed. And we all know cats love mice, right? They love to eat mice, or at
It
least.
reminds me of Tom and Jerry.
Yes, me too. They're always chasing mice, right? So the cat comes in next. That's the problem, right? And then the city mouse, I'm going to put CI and CO, run and hide. Or I should put ran. Let's change this to ran because we want to use past tense, right? They ran and they hid, actually. So we can take off that E because the past tense of hide is hid. So the cat came in and the city mouse and the country mouse ran and hid. Okay, remember our verb tense, we're going to try to keep it past tense. Very good. So then they left, and then Christopher, after they left, they eventually came back, but then what happened that time?
A dog came from the door.
Yes, then they got a dog, and it's like if the cat isn't bad enough, now the dog's really bad because the dog's going to chase after them too. So we could put that they came back, or it says they ventured back to the feast and the servants came in and then the house dog. So I'm going to put, I like that word ventured. That's a good strong verb, by the way. Ventured back, comma, and then I'm going to put dog and I'm going to put an exclamation point like, oh no, now there's a dog. Definitely talking about the problem here. So this is getting into the climax of the story where we don't know, are they going to get eaten? Are they going to get away? Did they get to eat any of the feast? Did they get to eat any of the cheeses and the pastries? No, Sydney's saying no. So they didn't eat food, right? They didn't get to eat their food. And then the country mouse is like, I'm out. I need to go back home. I'm too scared here in the city. So this country mouse, I'm going to draw an arrow and then put home. So the country mouse is like, thank you, cousin. I love you, cousin, but I'm going home because I'm scared. I don't want to die. And she wanted to go home because she felt safe and secure in the country, right? So I'm just going to put safe. I know I'm going kind of fast. I want to make sure to finish this. Safe and secure in the country. She loves the idea of eating fancy food and delicacies, but she says, I prefer my plain food and simple country life. So she says she prefers plain and simple. Plain food and simple life. There you go. All right. I know we kind of got fast there at the end, but this week, I'll leave that there if you're still writing. I'll zoom in a little. This week, you're going to use this outline, this story sequence chart to write your own story. But here's a little twist. If you want to change the characters and the setting and the situation, you can change it. Okay. So instead of two mice, you could pick two different animals. You could say two dogs or two birds or two horses or something like that. Or if you want to change it to people, that's fine too. But here's the thing, try to keep the plot similar, where one animal or one person lives in one place and the other animal or person lives in a completely different place. It could be like Japan and Florida or something like that, where it's just completely different places. Or if one lives on a farm and the other one lives in the city or something like that. Okay. So you guys can change it up and make it your own story, but with different places where they don't really like each other's place. They want to prefer to stay at their own place. That's the main plot of the story. Does that make sense to you guys? Any questions about that? No? Okay, so you can change it up a little bit. Follow the same type of plot with the characters and setting at the beginning, conflict and problem in the middle, and climax and resolution, and have fun with it. I have a feeling Bob might be around somewhere in one of these stories. I'm just saying. All right, you guys, that's it for today. I'll see you next week. Yes, Sydney, did you have something to say? Bye, Christopher.
I was just thinking of naming one of the mouses Bob, and then you said it.
Whoa. We have to have Bob somewhere. Christopher,
Bob's the IEW.
the the IEW mascot, is that what you said? Oh yeah, he is. He's with us forever. Megan?
I'm gonna name the mouse, but it's actually gotta be two people. One's a girl, one's a boy. Cindy and Cole.
I like it. They both start with C too. So you don't have to create a new story sequence chart. You can just kind of go with this plot and make up your own story, okay? Have fun with it, you guys.
Mhm.
I'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye. Have a good week, everybody.
Okay.